We love Trader Joe's, but do we love Trader Joe's Simpler Times Lager? Let's find out. Welcome back to the Treehouse Brewing Company YouTube channel, where from time to time we taste different beers from across the country, provide our feedback, share our thoughts, and then get yelled at in the comments. Today we have Trader Joe's private label beer brand called simply Simpler Times. We're going to taste it in this video, but before we do, a quick history lesson. Trader Joe's has been in the private label game for a long time. This all started back in 1972, of all things, with granola. And from there, they just kept going. Dried fruits, nuts, cheese, vitamins, even those fun theme labels like Trader Ming's and Trader Giotto's in the late 1970s. But the big turning point for alcohol came in 2002 with the infamous Charles Shaw, more affectionately known as $2 Chuck. You can imagine, in a sea of increasingly expensive bottles in California, $2 Chuck came along. It was $2. It was incredibly drinkable, and its popularity completely exploded. So much so that they sold over 1 billion bottles and proved that you could make a private label brand a massive success. Now here's the thing. While wine was absolutely crushing it, the beer aisle was still a little bit stale, leaning on outside brands and just a few quirky regional Trader Joe's brews like Joseph's Brow and Trader Jose. They didn't have a uniform set of offerings that was nationwide. Fast forward to 2008, and along comes Simpler Times Lager, along with Simpler Times Pilsner, which we don't have today. These beers were brewed under contract by Minhas Craft Brewery, which is the oldest brewery in Wisconsin, and this was the first nationwide Trader Joe's beer. So for the first time, it was the same label from coast to coast, allegedly the same taste every time, and priced to undercut even the big guys. Now, interestingly, the alcohol in this one clocks in at 6.2%. In research online, this thing's $10 a 12-pack. We actually paid $8.99. So this is less than 75 cents a can for this mass market lager. So I don't have any sales information, but this beer's been available for 17 years. So presumably it's solidified its place in refrigerators as the beer offering on par with $2 Chuck. Anytime something lasts for 17 years, it's probably pretty decent. Because they haven't changed it, the flavor profile was probably reasonably right to begin with. And that's why we're making this video. Is this beer a good value? Should you buy something more expensive that tastes better than this beer? Okay, so when we bought this beer, it was warm on the floor. If you guys are new to the channel, we've talked a lot about this. It's an objective fact that beer that's been refrigerated since the time it was made until the time that you got it is always going to taste objectively fresher. Doesn't mean that the beer that's purchased from the floor is going to be bad. It just means that had this beer been refrigerated since the time that it was produced, it probably would taste better. And there are certain brands that are better than that at others that will provide you a better tasting experience. By the looks of it, there's gibberish on the bottom of this can. So I don't know that that's helpful in terms of when this was packaged or when they think it will expire. I don't know if the box is any different. Nope. Now, I want to comment really quick on the design. I mean, this is like, they didn't have AI in 2008 that any of us were aware of, but if there was ever a generic beer label, like from the Dharma Project, the most basic, benign, lifeless design you could possibly imagine, this would be it. Doesn't mean it's a bad design. It just means that it's very, I feel like this should have like, what's the, like Getty Images on it or something? Like, be like Watermark, because it's so generic, like Design Class 101. But that said, it has a charm. I think that's part of the appeal. It's a lager beer. Is it a Helles style lager? Is it a American light lager? Is it made with corn, malt, wheat? We will never know. There's almost no information. We know that it's interestingly 6.2% alcohol by volume. Now, this might be slightly technical for you guys as a viewer, but in some of these larger breweries, they'll do what's called high gravity brewing, meaning that they'll brew a beer that's 8, 9, 10%, and then they'll introduce de-aerated water to it to reduce the alcohol content and increase their yield and profitability. It's kind of crazy to think that they probably had a full 1.5% of alcohol content to reduce this by with de-aerated water. Again, these larger breweries will literally, by definition, water their beer down to save money and extract extra profit. And this beer is actually reasonably high in alcohol, which increases its value, presumably. Yeah, in terms of what this beer is, we don't know. It's a lager beer. All right, so I'm going to do two things. I'm going to pour the beer into the glass for a visual analysis, and then I'm going to drink directly from the can for aroma and flavor, so the sunlight doesn't affect that tasting experience at all. So first thing we're going to do is pour it out, comment on the appearance. It looks great. Kind of a dark yellow, orange, rust color. Really brilliant and clear. A lot of effervescence. Head looks really good. This is a creamy, foamy head. And for the aroma and flavor, we're going to go into the can itself. Ooh. All right. All right. I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, we've got some real like caramelized oxidation notes going on the aroma. Some real gnarly, like coppery, oxidized, metallic, not so great staling effect. I don't get any skunkiness to it, but I do get like an aggressively kind of wet cardboard aroma. Doesn't mean the flavor won't be good. Oh no. No. Oh. Now, before I talk about that reaction, it's always fun to watch a guy hate on something. And on this channel, we try to be as objective as possible. A lot of respect for the people that make these beers, a lot of respect for the purveyors that sell them. Really try to be balanced and objective about the tasting experience that we're having. I don't think mass market lager is de facto bad. In fact, I think it's generally good and typically tastes good. This beer is rough. This beer is not pleasant. I'm getting a little bit of sourness. Really stale, oxidized. I mean, this tastes like a beer that was sitting in someone's trunk for 3 years and then refrigerated. And then I'm here drinking it and tasting it. It's very oxidized. It's very metallic. It's very coppery. It's really unpleasant, guys. So a lot of times when we do these tastings, we talk about whether or not the value is worth it to you. So if I use like freshly purchased cold chain Miller Lite, for example, it's going to be reasonably well priced and the flavor is going to be exceptionally consistent, not oxidized, and delicious. This is not an example of that. Now, I don't know what this beer tastes like when it's fresh from the brewery. I don't know what it tastes like when it's more fresh than this example, but holy cow, I can't advocate on behalf of Simpler Times. I think it needs refining, and I think you shouldn't buy it. I just don't understand who would like this. I don't know. Michael's laughing. Again, it's probably my harshest reaction in the channel's history, but it's also probably the worst beer that we've tried. We call it like we see it. I just can't recommend this beer. I don't find it to be valuable in any sense of the word. I don't care how cheap it is. It could be free, and I wouldn't want it. So that's our thoughts on Simpler Times Lager. As always, guys, if you enjoy this content, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you later.